Good morning, students. In the last class, we started learning the poem The Cold Within by James Patrick Kinney. So today we shall continue learning that poem. All of you take your treasure trove book and turn to page number 10. James Patrick Kinney was an American writer who wrote this poem in the 1960s. And at first, this poem was rejected for being too controversial. But later, when it was read out at a council meeting of all religions, it gained popularity. And in the first stanza of this poem, we find the setting. 6 people are trapped by happenstance in a bleak and bitter cold. So the climate is extremely cold. 6 humans are trapped. They are trapped means they are not in that place voluntarily or willingly. They are trapped, so they do not have any other option. They have to be there. And each one is having a log of wood, a piece of wood. And in the second stanza, the poet tells that the fire is dying, and the dying fire needs logs to be put. But these people are not willing to put the piece of log they have in their hand into the fire. What is the reason? Let's see the reason. The first person, that is the racist woman, sees a black person in that group. So she doesn't want to give her piece of wood. The next man sees a person who doesn't belong to his church. Okay, so the first woman is a racist white woman who sees a black person. She doesn't like the black. So she tells to herself that she is not going to help the black person by giving her log of wood or by putting her piece of wood into the fire. What will happen if they don't put a piece of wood into it? The fire will die and eventually all the others will die. But they are not thinking like that. They are too selfish, they are too prejudiced, and they have hatred towards each other. So they refuse to give the piece of wood to the dying fire. Right? So the first woman is a racist white woman who hates a black, who is in that group. And who is the second one? The second one is a person who sees a person who doesn't belong to his church in that group. And so the second person can be called as a bigot. Okay, the second person can be called as a bigot. Who is a bigot? Bigot is one who is narrow-mindedly devoted to their own ideas. So people who are very narrow-minded, and these kinds of people will be devoted to their own ideas, groups, and they will be intolerant of differing ideas, races, genders, religions, and politicians. So such people can be called as bigots. Is it clear, students? So some people really have this problem. They cannot accept a person from a different caste or religion or a region or a person with different ideas. But we have to accept one another. But this person is not able to accept the other person who doesn't belong to his church. So he refuses to give the wood. And the third one is a poor person who sits in tattered clothes. So he is wearing tattered, that is torn clothes, and he sees a rich person. So the poor person hates the rich person, and so he thinks that giving a log would benefit the rich person. So he should not put the piece of log into the fire. That's what he decides. And according to the poor man, the rich people are idle people. Okay, they are lazy people. That is his perspective. Okay, so yesterday we learnt all these 4 stanzas. Now coming to the 5th stanza. The rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store. So even in that situation, he is thinking like this. You just imagine he is thinking about his wealth. When we are about to die, I don't think that we'll be thinking about the wealth we have and all. We'll be trying to find out or figure out a way to escape from that particular situation. But this rich person is thinking about his wealth he had in store and how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. So, according to him, the poor people are lazy and shiftless. That is his idea about the poor. On the other hand, the poor person thinks that the rich people are lazy. Do you understand, students? So, see, the white woman is against black woman. This person, the second person, is against the person who doesn't belong to his church. The third person, that is the poor man, is against the rich person. The rich person is against the poor person. Okay? Right. So, the rich person is seriously thinking how to protect his wealth from the lazy and the shiftless poor. Turn to the next page. The black man's face. So, the 5th person is a black man. The black man's face bespoke revenge. Bespoke means it represented. So when a person wants to take revenge, when he is very angry over the other person, we can figure it out by seeing his countenance. Countenance means face, right? Very angry expression and all. So the black man's face was showing revenge as the fire passed from his sight. So he just sees. What does he see? For all he saw in a stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. So he thinks that this is the best opportunity I have in my hand. So the one and only opportunity I have to take revenge over this white woman is not to put my piece of log into the fire. How foolishly he thinks, right? So when he sees the white, he thinks about the chance he has got to spite her. Spite means a desire to hurt. So he thinks that it is the best time for him to take revenge over the white. So white here refers to the white woman, the first person. Okay. So the first person is against the 5th person, that is the black man. The 3rd person is against the 4th person. And the 4th person is against the 3rd person. The 5th person is against the 1st person. Do you understand, students? Okay? Then, the last man of this forlorn group, forlorn means hopeless. These people are really hopeless. They are prejudiced against each other. The last man of this forlorn group did not accept for gain. Giving only to those who gave was how he played the game. So the last man in this group is a very selfish and an opportunist person. He is a selfish and opportunistic person. So he was always musing on profit, right? So what is his policy? He will give things to those who gives things to him, right? And that's how he lives his life. And he is thinking about the profit he would be getting by giving the piece of wood to the fire. What is the profit am I going to get by giving the piece of wood I have? What is the use? Why should I give it to all these people? Why should I save all these people? That is the thought process of the last person. He is a selfish person and he is very opportunistic also, and he always thinks about gain or making profit. Is it clear, students? I hope you have understood the meaning of all these lines. The last stanza. Their locks held tight. You please imagine this. Their locks held tight in death's still hands. See, death's still hands is personification. So the figure of speech used in this line is personification. Please take it down. For your examination, they may ask all these things. What is personification? Personification is a literary device in which an inanimate object or an idea is given human quality. An inanimate object is when an inanimate object is given a human quality, it is called as personification. So how can we say that in death's still hands is a personification? Here, death is being given human traits. Do you understand, students? Death is being given human traits. That's why we say that personification is the figure of speech used here. Was proof of human sin. So their locks held tight in death's still hands was proof of human sin. Sin here refers to their selfishness, being self-centered, hatred, and all these negative feelings they have for one another. Do you understand? So the next day they all hold their locks tightly and they all are dead. And this scene is a proof of human sin. This scene shows that these people are filled with hatred for one another. They are so selfish and self-centered. They did not die from the cold without. Cold without here refers to the environment, the climatic condition. Okay, they did not die of or because of the environment, the extreme climate, but they died from the cold within. What is the reason for their death? They did not die of or from the cold without, they died from the cold within. Please take down what I say. Cold within refers to the lack of warmth. Cold within refers to the lack of warmth in their minds. Okay? Lack of warmth in their minds. It's very important. You may ask, you may expect all these things for your examination. Okay? So these people do not have compassion for one another. They don't love one another. They don't tolerate. They are filled with hatred. They are prejudiced against each other. So what is the message of this poem? Discriminatory attitude and hatred that humans have against one another on the basis of race, class and religion is futile and it is self-destructive. So that is the message given by James Patrick Kinney to us. If we are having discriminatory attitude and hatred against one another on the basis of race, culture, religion, region, etc. and etc. ideas and all, it's futile, it's useless and it is self-destructive. Is it clear, students? So, the 6 people in this poem, all these people symbolize us. How? Because they are trapped in that situation. Like them, we are also living in this world and we have different kinds of people in this world. If we keep on hating or if we keep on discriminating the others like these 6 people, we are going to suffer a great loss. We are not going to go forward or move forward. So we should be broad-minded. We should accept one another. We should love one another. That is the message given in this poem. I hope you all have understood, students. So please go through the introduction and the poem again and again and try to understand the meaning of each and every word, and as I instructed you yesterday, you have to frame questions of your own. It will be of great help to you. Okay students, thank you and have a nice day.